Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you've spent any time in a major city recently, you already know firsthand how ride-hailing apps have completely rewired our expectations for transportation. Platforms like Uber and Lyft didn't just change how we commute, they fundamentally altered urban mobility. So today, we're acting as your software architects. We're going to give you a highly structured, educational blueprint for building an Uber-like platform from the ground up, based on comprehensive industry guides. We'll be walking you through the complete development journey. Okay, let's dive into this. To understand why this specific development process is so incredibly sought after by founders and product managers right now, just consider the market size. The global ride-sharing industry is projected to hit a staggering $220 billion by 2028. I mean, that is a massive pie. And there's still plenty of room for innovative, niche mobility solutions. So let's look at exactly what it takes to build a platform capable of capturing a piece of that market. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with planning your ride-hailing platform, then move into core features and design, unpack the technology stack and security, walk through the actual development process and testing, and finally, wrap up with launch, growth, and costs. Let's get right into it. Starting with Section 1, planning your ride-hailing platform. This is the absolute vital first step. That has to happen before a single line of code is ever written. A really common mistake is just rushing straight into development because, building is the fun part, but defining your foundation is a non-negotiable step. You need a specific target market. Maybe you're focusing on corporate ride services, maybe women-only taxis, or even a bike taxi niche in highly congested cities. Next, you've got to understand your competitors to identify gaps in the market. Crucially, you have to plan for regulatory compliance right out of the gate. We're talking local transport laws, licensing, and strict data privacy regulations like GDPR or CCPA. Finally, how are you making money? You must define your monetization strategy. Will you take a commission per ride, offer subscription plans, rely on surge pricing? These decisions literally dictate the entire architecture of your app. Once that business foundation is rock solid, we transition into Section 2, core features and design. The really crucial point to grasp here is that building an app like this means you're not just building one app. You're actually building 3 separate, highly synchronized interfaces. For the passenger app, you need user registration, real-time GPS tracking, secure payment options, and an emergency SOS button. But simultaneously, you're building a driver app, which needs entirely different things like route optimization, ride acceptance flows, and an earnings dashboard. And sitting right above both of those, the admin panel. That's your central nervous system, where operators manage users, monitor real-time fleet tracking, and adjust surge pricing. These aren't isolated pieces. They have to communicate flawlessly in real time to make the whole ecosystem work. And this brilliantly illustrates why intuitive UX and UI design is absolutely essential. It's the glue that holds this complex technology together. Think about it. If a user is stranded in the pouring rain, they don't care at all about your brilliant back-end architecture. They just care about a simple, straightforward booking flow. Good design ensures that whether it's a rider trying to navigate an interactive map or a new driver going through their onboarding process, the entire experience feels effortless. With those user journeys mapped out, let's jump to Section 3, technology stack and security. This is the underlying architecture that powers your platform's long-term scalability. Choosing your tech stack isn't just a technical decision. It's about directly supporting business outcomes like high performance and reliability. For the front end, dev teams usually look at native languages like Kotlin for Android and Swift for iOS, or they go with cross-platform solutions like Flutter or React Native. On the back end, you need robust languages like Node.js or Python, paired with heavy-duty databases like PostgreSQL or MongoDB to handle massive, constant data flows. And you're definitely not building everything from scratch. Third-party APIs are your best friends here. You integrate Google Maps for navigation, Stripe or PayPal for secure payments, and Firebase for push notifications. Now, a huge, non-negotiable component of that architecture has to be security. Let's talk about end-to-end encryption. Ride-hailing apps handle incredibly sensitive data, location histories, financial transactions, personal user details. Security measures, like using OAuth's authentication to protect user sessions, or implementing fraud detection algorithms to catch suspicious payments, absolutely must be integrated from day one. You cannot build the app and then try to bolt security on as an afterthought. It has to be woven deeply into your initial code. Having established that secure architecture, we are moving into Section 4, the actual development process and testing execution. Let's move to and see how this builds into a real production-ready application. It always starts with MVP development, your minimum viable product. You launch a basic version with just the essential features so you can test the market early. From there, you use an agile approach. That means working in iterative cycles, constantly refining and adding features based on actual, real-world user feedback. And running parallel to all of this, rigorous testing and quality assurance. I really can't overstate how critical this testing phase is. Before the public ever sees your app, every component gets stressed. You run unit testing to make sure each specific feature works perfectly on its own. You run intense security testing to prevent data breaches. Crucially, you do performance testing. You have to know the app will remain totally stable during peak traffic loads, like a busy Friday night when everyone needs a ride at the same time. Finally, usability testing catches any lingering UI friction points before they drive your real customers crazy. Which brings us to our final phase, Section 5, Launch, Growth, and the Required Financial Investment. Launching is highly strategic. Usually you don't just drop it everywhere at once. You begin with a soft launch in a specific contained test market before doing a full App Store rollout. It's a great way to collect feedback in a controlled environment. Once you're fully deployed, scaling up relies on advanced tech like AI-based demand prediction to optimize where your drivers need to be. Pair that with smart marketing, referral programs, social media campaigns, and offering higher commission incentives to get early adopter drivers on board. Those are proven strategies for long-term growth. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the financial reality of the journey. Project scope and technical complexity are what really drive these investment tiers. If you're starting with an MVP, development costs generally sit between $30,000 and $50,000. Expanding that into a full-feature app, that bumps the budget up to between $80,000 and $150,000. And if you're aiming for an enterprise-level platform right out of the gate with advanced AI, complex route optimization, and ride-sharing pools, you are looking at an investment of $200,000 or more. So, looking back at this complete roadmap, it becomes pretty clear that building a successful mobility platform is vastly more complicated than just cloning existing features. It demands deep market research, thoughtful design for passengers, drivers, and admins alike, a highly secure tech stack, and just an unyielding commitment to continuous improvement. Building the next big ride-sharing platform is an enormous undertaking. But as we've walked through today, taking a highly structured approach makes it completely achievable. So I'll leave you with this question to reflect on as you map out your own project. Are you ready to build a platform that genuinely meets modern mobility needs with real strategic vision? Or are you simply going to copy what already exists? Thank you so much for joining us for this explainer, and we will see you next time.